What's going on, guys? It's your bro Ryan.
And your better bro Taylor. And we're both engineers who quickly realized we wanted out of that corporate rat race. So we began teaching ourselves and gaining experience in investing in finance. And we've been doing that for a couple years now.
So please follow us on this journey. Like this video if you learned something. Please subscribe and follow along. In today's video, we're going to talk about how you can get into the real estate market without having to purchase a home.
Yeah. So these are going to be ways that you can make money in real estate without having to actually own any real property. First way being, you can make money through renting a property. Now there's that classic way of, simply having roommates that help you with the rent and everything. But you can also go about it as like a total sublease or a rental arbitrage where you, rent a property, but then you put it up on Airbnb. So let's say you did want to explore this whole subleasing or rental arbitrage route and everything. You will need to get owner approval for this. This isn't just something you can do in secret while renting a place. So you do need to get owner approval, but it's just something you can pitch, as long as you get their approval and the leasing contract and everything, you're good to go. So you can just tell them, you're going to get your rental payments on time consistently. I'm going to keep it in great condition because you have to keep it up for Airbnb. And of course, the owner is going to love that because at any point, if they feel like selling, the property is going to already be in seller condition or selling condition. So let's say you did want to do this. You're going to want to make sure, or at least try to sign a long-term contract. That way you can cash flow this property for an extended period of time, of course. If you're only got a 6-month lease, you're not going to be able to get that much bang for your buck with this because you're going to have to, go through all this different listing and finding tenants and everything. And that's all a process. So the longer you can kind of lease this property, the longer you can obviously cash flow.
And someone that's maybe, I haven't looked into this, but I just thought about this. Someone that's willing to do a lot more work up front, maybe you can do a shorter lease, but you can then only do it in the hot season. So the beach time, you only rent a beach condo so that you have less cost over the year. I don't know how that would work out. That's just a quick thought that popped in my head.
Yeah. And you may be wondering why someone wouldn't simply put their own place on Airbnb if they're already trying to rent it. A lot of people don't want to deal with the hassle, dealing with all these different people coming through. You got to hire a cleaning crew because, all these things you have to set up for your Airbnb and everything. So it's just someone that's willing to put in more work. And oftentimes, if the owner initially doesn't kind of agree, you can work out something else where you'll do some like profit sharing or something. You just got to sweeten the deal, make it obviously still worth your while. But it's all just a negotiation for a lot of places. Now there are some like places that have zoning restrictions that are like county or state mandated where you can't sublease this type of property or something. Don't try and be sneaky with that. They will get you and you will hit some major fines, possibly some, stricter penalties like jail time or such. So just make sure that you have approval and everything. Do your research about the property, any like limits on it or anything, but it's a great avenue to explore.
And the next one we're going to talk about are REITs. So REITs are real estate investment trust. REITs are something you can buy on the U.S. stock market. It's investing in a company. So different companies are REITs, and these companies are going to be purchasing, owning, financing, and managing all these different real estate depending on what their area focus in. Some focus in oil and they own pipelines. Some focus in major cities and infrastructure, and they own certain types of buildings. So it really depends, but these are typically going to be dividend paying stocks, and they're going to be higher dividend paying stocks.
Yeah.
Most of the time you're going to see them not paying a dividend if they had a downfall or if that market was struggling. So for example, oil, then those would drop their dividend a lot of times. So they're not the most reliable, the most trustworthy. Some of them are very good ones, but you got to kind of pick and choose, look at the history, look at the growth, and decide if it's going to be a REIT you invest in.
You can basically think of it as you're almost operating as a lender. Now there are obviously going to be a whole bunch of lenders for REITs and everything because it's on the public stock market and everything. Pretty much anyone can buy in. So, but you're operating as the lender, and you basically can think of that dividend as some payments back on the loan you just gave. So that's kind of how real estate works, and you can kind of think of it that way if you'd like to.
Yeah, and very, very similar. Another way you can get in is to buy into a bigger real estate-based company. So Berkshire Hathaway, you see their signs in many yards because they own tons of property. They own tons of real estate. It's a real estate focused company, and them as well as American Tower. That's another big company that owns a lot of cellular towers or structures, or wireless communication structures is a better way to put it. Another part of that would be owning in like a construction company, like say a DR Horton, or even owning like the public storage. So public storage is a company that you can go and store junk or whatever you want there,
Yeah.
and they're all over the place. People always need more storage room, so you can invest in one of those.
Yeah. And of course, for any of these deals, really, you can invest with a group. So let's say you even did want to get into ownership, but you didn't want or you couldn't afford the whole lump sum and everything. Investing in with groups or renting with groups, that's all an option. It's just to kind of lessen the load on you, whether that be financial or management. There are just different ways you can kind of delegate the different aspects of getting into real estate to different group members.
And you yourself can become a hard money lender. That is going to be the last way we talk about, but that's a super good way to make money in real estate without having to purchase a property or have that massive down payment.
Mm-hmm.
So, say someone needs a down payment for a property, however, they only have a portion of it. Sometimes you can lend them the other portion.
Yeah.
Or you have a friend that's trying to build a structure or add to his house, or build a shed in the backyard. You can hard money loan them the money at a designated interest rate, at designated fees, at a how long you want the money back. So you can lend it for a year, and say you get, worst case scenario, 8% back on your money. That's what you decide. You're beating out the market on average, so that's
Yeah.
a great investment. You're gaining money in the end. I've seen them as high as 15%. So you charge less fees up front, but you get 15% interest on the money you loan. And if you only have $10,000, that might be all they need. So you don't necessarily need the money to purchase a whole home. You could do smaller chunks of money. I myself have gone this route, and it worked out well. And I gained enough money based on the interest to beat inflation and to beat the market.
Understand what hard money lending is and make sure you kind of have the backbone really to kind of carry through with it. The whole concept of hard money lending is that loan is backed by actual real property being traditionally whatever real estate they're buying. So if they default, you get that real estate or that portion of real estate, their equity and everything. And we did, of course, want to just make a disclaimer at this point that we're not professional financial advisors or anything. We're not saying do this. We're simply guys who have kind of, been gaining knowledge and everything in real estate and wanted to share our information with you. We're here for entertainment purposes and everything. So take everything we say with a grain of salt. Do your own research, of course. We're just sharing what information that we find good and helpful. These are things that we're possibly going to explore ourselves and everything. We're not going to give you guys any advice that we wouldn't consider doing ourselves. Without at least saying, that this isn't something that we would really consider.
But at this point, I really want you guys to leave a comment. Let us know which one of these is your favorite. Let us know if you have any experience with one of these or all of these. And we'd love to talk to you guys about that and get more feedback. And you learn from us and us grow from you guys. So please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow along us with this journey, and please comment. Thanks, guys, for watching.
Yeah.